the emotional compartment, and the 5-phase roadmap to reconnection. Our minds use mental scales for every relationship we have. At the start of a healthy one, the scale is balanced by positive seeds represented by yellow dots, which are moments of kindness, love, and respect. This builds a foundation of trust and affection. The positive confirmation bias acts as a filter, seeking out and reinforcing these experiences. As long as the positive seeds outweigh the negative, the relationship remains strong, favoring the hero's narrative. The problem begins when a single negative seed, a black dot, is introduced. This could be an insensitive comment, a forgotten promise, or a moment of emotional unavailability. The scale begins to tip slightly. With our existing positive bias, we try to justify or dismiss this negative seed, but it creates a small amount of mental tension. Over time, more negative seeds are added. The partner might consistently neglect their emotional needs, engage in hurtful behavior, or become emotionally distant. The scale is now significantly tipped toward the negative side. The negative confirmation bias starts to form, acting as a second filter that looks for and validates these negative experiences. This is a crucial turning point. Their mind is now split between two conflicting narratives: the hero, supported by the original positive seeds, and the villain, a new narrative fueled by the growing number of negative ones. This creates a huge internal conflict and immense mental tension. They want to believe in the good of their partner but are faced with overwhelming evidence of the bad. Now, they're faced with a choice: leave and resolve the conflict, or stay and find a way to cope. If leaving is impossible due to external factors like kids, family, or home, their mind's solution is to add a psychological counterweight to the hero's side of the scale. This is a mental effort to justify staying despite the pain. To deal with this immense internal conflict, they begin to build an emotional compartment, a psychological defense mechanism to suppress the pain. The negative confirmation bias becomes a powerful filter, blocking out any positive seeds and only letting in information that supports the villain narrative. The mental counterweight works by sending inhibitory signals, primarily using GABA, to suppress the neural activity in the brain regions, like the amygdala, associated with the pain and conflict of the relationship. This creates new pathways that get fortified over time. This new neural network is the emotional compartment. Think of it not as a network that makes emotions disappear, but as a neural dimmer switch. It doesn't turn the emotional lights off completely, but it turns them down so low that they are not a source of conscious pain or distress. They begin to emotionally disassociate from their partner. The compartment becomes fortified, and the emotional wall seems impenetrable. They are no longer in a state of dissonance because their mind has chosen a single narrative: the villain is the problem, and their emotional detachment is justified. Their narrative and their emotions are finally in alignment. The recovery process. This is where your work begins. The journey back from this state isn't linear, and it is a long process that can take anywhere from 6 to 18 months, depending on how strong their confirmation bias is. However, it does follow a predictable roadmap. We've integrated the work of other experts into a 5-phase model that can guide you through the process of rebuilding emotional safety, breaking through that confirmation bias, and ultimately crumbling that emotional compartment down. The first phase is often characterized by hopeless resistance. Your partner has become cold and indifferent. You may feel like all emotional connection has been severed. This is not a sign of them being a bad person. It's a powerful defense mechanism. Their brain has created an emotional compartment as a state of apathy, where they've convinced themselves the situation is hopeless. They are deeply skeptical, and their confirmation bias actively filters out any positive information. They will tell you that nothing you do can change their mind because, psychologically, the compartment they built to survive this conflict is still in control. Your actions are met with a psychological catch-22. Your role is to adopt a non-victim mindset and focus solely on your self-improvement. The next phase is often resentment, curiosity, and doubt. It begins when one partner makes a profound change. You stop being needy, angry, or emotional. This new behavior creates a powerful cognitive dissonance in their mind. The new reality conflicts with the old negative narrative they had created. This is where the apathy is replaced by anger or frustration. This is the beginning of doubt. Their protective narrative is starting to be challenged. They are now in a state of internal conflict where they are questioning the story they had told themselves. This is why the resentment can be more intense. They're struggling with the internal conflict and the dissonance is becoming more acute. You must continue your positive actions to break through the more intense resistance. The third phase, called the polarity pull, is one of the most confusing and painful. As their internal conflict increases, a strange behavior emerges. They may reach out, agree to go to a public event, or engage in friendly conversations. It's easy to mistake this for emotional closeness, but it's a facade. Their authentic self wants to connect, but their protective self is still in control, leading to a profound paradox of change. The more you change for the better, the more pressure they will feel to confront the truth. Your role is to remain a stable, unreactive force and become stronger with every test they throw at you. You need to interpret these tests or emotional dips as great opportunities to change their perception of you. One day they are affectionate. The next day they are distant. These mixed signals are a direct result of the internal conflict between their authentic self and their protective self. Their emotional scale is at a 50-50 balance. Before getting to the next stage, you will have to pass a crucial conversation and turn it into a corrective one that finally breaks through the confirmation bias. The scales are now at 50-50, and the mental effort to maintain the compartment and the negative narrative is at its peak. Their brain is working tirelessly to justify staying emotionally checked out, but the consistent positive evidence is becoming overwhelming. This internal stress is so great that cracks begin to appear in their entire narrative. This is the moment of crisis, a result of extreme cognitive dissonance. To end the suffering, their mind's protective self tries to force an outcome that fits their old narrative. This often leads to a confrontation, a crucial conversation, as they feel a strong urge to resolve the dissonance. This is an intense test to see if your changes are real. Is your partner truly emotionally safe, non-needy, and non-reactive? They might use absolutes like, "I am never coming back," or "I never loved you," in a desperate attempt to re-establish the villain narrative and reseal the compartment. The immense pressure makes this test impossible to pass with sheer willpower. You must have already made huge internal changes, taken full ownership of your part, and gotten rid of all resentment and victim mindsets. The easiest way to pass is to reinterpret this moment as a crucial opportunity to show the new you. If passed, this conversation can become the first corrective conversation. This is not a debate you can win, but a chance to show that your changes are real and your presence is now emotionally safe. If you fail, the walls will go up, stronger than ever. But if you pass, they may not be able to reseal the cracks in their emotional walls. The fourth state is the testing the water and unsurrendered reconciliation stage. The partner is testing the waters of vulnerability with you again. They have intellectually accepted your changes, but their emotions are lagging behind, as the old pathways of the emotional compartment have not yet been replaced with new ones. They are now beginning to project a new, more positive reality for the relationship. They are beginning to engage, but they still have one foot in the boat, but not both. Their brain is so used to the protective narrative that they are still fearful of fully committing. Your consistent, non-needy behavior is what will allow them to finally surrender to the new reality. The old narrative, which was built and reinforced for years, is not a physical object you can smash and throw away. It's a deeply ingrained neural pathway in the brain, but the crucial corrective conversation shattered its dominance. Right now, the mind is in a crucial, temporary state of flux. The old neural pathway is still there, but your actions have created an alternative path that is much more compelling. Your partner no longer needs to use the old pathway to navigate life, but it is still a well-worn, familiar road for the brain to revert to in times of stress or fear. Your job is to continue to reinforce the new positive narrative. With every calm, non-needy, and friendly interaction, you are helping the mind build and strengthen the new pathway, making the old one less and less relevant until it eventually withers away from disuse. The reconnection timeline. Here is a potential timeline for how healing and reconnection can unfold. Phase 1. Disruption. Time frame: immediate, day 0 to 7 after the corrective conversation. What's happening? Your calm, consistent, and committed new behavior disrupts their emotional narrative. They expected resistance or a collapse, but instead experience a calm, truthful, and loving presence. This creates a powerful and necessary contrast. Your role: stay consistent. Do not chase or pressure them. Allow them the space to process this new reality. Phase 2. Cognitive dissonance. Time frame: weeks 1 to 3. What's happening? Their brain wrestles with conflicting beliefs. They stress me out versus they're safe now. This internal struggle is uncomfortable but essential for their healing. Your role: remain emotionally steady. You must validate their feelings without taking them personally. Do not apply pressure. Phase 3. Curiosity and reassessment. Time frame: months 1 to 2. What's happening? They begin to observe you differently. The small moments of warmth or trust you offer start to feel less threatening. Your role: keep showing up with integrity. Let them witness your growth and consistency over time. Phase 4. Emotional rewiring. Time frame: months 2 to 6. What's happening? New neural pathways begin to form in their brain. You become associated with calm, safety, and reliability, and their old emotional triggers start to weaken. Your role: reinforce their sense of safety through your consistent tone, presence, and empathy. Phase 5. Reconnection and healing. Time frame: months 6+. What's happening? If their emotional safety is sustained and reinforced over time, genuine attraction and connection may begin to re-emerge organically. Your role: stay true to your values. Remember that true love cannot be demanded, it can only be created. This brings us to the final state: intimacy engagement and surrendered reconciliation. They have reached a state of emotional certainty. Their brain has fully integrated the new reality, and their confirmation bias is now a positive one. They are ready to commit to a future with you. This is surrendered reconciliation. They have jumped in with both feet. They are no longer just in a relationship with you. They are in a process of continuous growth and healing. Your transformation has created a new, stable psychological reality that is based on honesty and emotional security. The scales are now tilted back toward the positive side. The negative weights have either disappeared or been reinterpreted. This is not about forgetting the past, but about integrating it into a new, more truthful narrative. Their perspective has fundamentally shifted. They are no longer looking for evidence to justify their pain and detachment. Instead, they are now seeking out and valuing the positive aspects of the relationship and their own healing journey. The emotional compartment finally comes down for good. They have created a single, authentic narrative of their relationship, acknowledging both the painful past and the hopeful future. Their feelings and actions are finally in alignment, allowing them to move forward with a full and honest sense of self.